Hey buddies, how's it going? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. We're talking about fragrances today that can absolutely fill up a room. Though, to be fair, pretty much every fragrance could fill up a room as long as you're determined enough. Heck man, you could take something like 4711 Eau de Cologne. Get yourself one of those big old bottles of it and just go ahead and dump that bad boy all over yourself. Legitimately, just crack the top, dump it on. I don't care that that's an Eau de Cologne. You'll be filling up the room. So realistically, any fragrance could be a room filler. You just have to be unhinged enough to actually make it work. Or determined enough. That's the better way to say it. But I've got something else in mind today. Fragrances that are strong enough that you could wear them like normal and they'll go ahead and do that whole room filling thing for you. And I'm also gonna be doing a giveaway of a couple fragrances here today as well. Just a couple scents that I've had for years and years just sitting there lonely. So I'm gonna give them to one of you so they can actually get some use. We're gonna kick things off with Boss Bottled Absolute from Hugo Boss. Not to be confused with Boss Bottled Absolute by Armani. It's named Boss Bottled. So this little guy right here packs a big punch. It lasts a long time, projects heavily, which is going to do very well in room filling duty. And it smells a bit similar to Parfums de Marly's Carlisle. So what does that mean? Warm, sexy, classy, sophisticated, all that stuff. It smells like it has a little bit of a tobacco edge to it, even though tobacco is not one of the notes in the fragrance. A nice bit of sweetness there, but not overdone. As far as the official notes go, there are patchouli, incense, leather, myrrh, and a little bit of woodiness as well as it dries down. And I'll tell you what, if you've been sleeping on the Boss Bottled line, you need to be checking some of these new ones out. Boss Bottled Elixir, fantastic. Boss Bottled Pacific, when you could find it, was really good. And that has kind of led us to this point with Absolute, which could be the very best of them all. Certainly one of the strongest. Now something a little bit different. This is Armaf's Connoisseur Man, technically. And in typical Armaf fashion, they could not go without slapping a little kind of crystal-esque feature on the bottle. Now it's not actually a crystal here, not like in Club de Nuit Intense Man. It's actually just like a little circle. I don't know. It's like a little white circle that they put on there. But it looks kind of like the crystals that they love to put on everything. Now, one warning about Connoisseur Man. This is sweet. Especially when you first get it in, it is real sweet. I mean, there's a freshness to it as well, but it is kind of sugary to the point that it could cause you to go into a coma. Now it's toned down a bit as the bottle has sat around, but when I first got this in, it was like, now how does it smell? Well, kind of like Violet Parfum, the original Violet Parfum, but to me, it smells like it's blended with Nitro Red from Dumont. So if you're unaware of Nitro Red, that one is a clone of Invictus/Invictus Aqua with like a smattering of Baccarat Rouge 540, really just a tiny touch of that BR 540. So this is kind of like Violet Parfum mixed up with that. So for some of you out there, that's gonna smell fantastic, just really great, you know, good performance, attention grabbing, fresh, but definitely sweet. Then as it dries down, tries to get just a tiny touch more like that Violet Parfum, but still with those other aspects in there. For other people, they're gonna go, no, don't ever approach me with that again, or I'll shank you. So I'm just putting it out there. That's how it smells. For some of you, that will be interesting. For others, it will not. But one thing it does do, at least off my skin, is perform really well. And if you go real heavy, your head is gonna just split right open. That sounds like a horror movie, which it kind of would be. Valentino Uomo, Born in Roma, Extra Dose. They put the name as Extra Dose, so you know it's gotta have a little extra push to it. And this one does. It's a good thing they did not name it Extra Notes though, because it doesn't have those. It has 3. And to be frank with you, some of those notes don't even count as real notes, really. It's like we got some spices and woods and lavender. Like spices and woods, well, what kind? The kind that is from a tree. Thanks, Valentino. Helpful. So this one smells a bit similar to Born in Roma Intense, which is my very favorite of the entire Born in Roma lineup. But this one is not quite as sweet as that one. It still has sweetness, especially that lavender that works through as one of the main focal points of the fragrance, but it doesn't have that, you know, big blast of vanilla that Born in Roma Intense has. This one reins that sweetness in slightly, It keeps things very wearable, versatile, really appealing, easy to wear stuff here, and has great projection and longevity. Though to be fair, a number of the Valentino Uomo fragrances do. It's not just this one, but I can't put like, 3 of the fragrances here today as Valentino Born in Roma fragrances, but I will put Extra Dose as my choice for today. After that, French Avenue's Royal Blend, which this is one of those obvious ones where all you have to do is pick up the bottle and take a look at it, and you can see the similarities to another popular scent, one named Angel Share, which you may or may not have heard of. But trust me, it's pretty popular. So yeah, Royal Blend is a fragrance done very much in that style. It has cognac, cinnamon, plum, myrrh, vanilla, tonka, and sandalwood as some of the notes here. Boozy, rich, warm, sweet, very addictive. Good performance here. Projects extremely well, lasts a long time. One thing I will say, and this goes for not just French Avenue fragrances, but a whole lot of different clone fragrances. If you get them in and you go ahead and do the old spray Rooney, 1 or 2, and you say, this is not quite hitting so hard. Maybe it smells kind of flat. It is annoying, it has been talked about to death, and a lot of people will be like, nah, that ain't even true, man. That's just all in your head. It's all placebo effect, brother. But if that happens, if you smell it and you go, bleh, then just let it sit for a couple weeks after you've sprayed it. Go back to it, and a lot of times those clone fragrances will open up, and when you approach it a second time, you'll be like, so much better. That didn't happen for me with this one, but it did happen with Etheric Straight. Etheric Straight, when I got that one in, which looks like this right here, it smelled like a whole bunch of nothing. It smelled like rubbing alcohol. It was straight trash, garbage, just complete garbage. There's no way around it. It was absolutely awful. It was so bad that I was like 2 seconds from immediately doing a video and just saying, this is the worst possible thing. Do not buy this. But I let it sit there for a little bit, went back to it, and I was like, oh my God, it's like night and day. So yeah, that's Royal Blend after me going on a tangent. But if you want a high quality, long lasting, very well projecting Angel Share alternative, check that out. They also have another one called Royal Blend Nero, which comes in a blacked out bottle, same style. And that one is more similar to Gisa Sava and also Kamra from Latafa, kind of in that style. And that one's really good too. Let's go crazy expensive with the next one. It's the only really expensive one here. It's from Guerlain, and it is Tobacco Honey. And look, PSA, once again, I do these every so often, but this is pricey, okay? Like I just said, you may be able to sometimes find it for a little bit less than what it goes for at retail. Maybe a discounter has it in stock or something, but do not fall for the eBay prices where you're gonna get a fake bottle. As an example, this is fake. This is fake. Guerlain Tobacco Honey, luxurious unisex fragrance, 100% positive feedback, $59.99. Guys, this ain't real. And look down here, compare with similar items. Tobacco Honey, $54.29, 10 watchers. Those are fake. If you buy those, you're getting ripped off. I've done videos on eBay before talking about this, but eBay don't care. They are not gonna go through and police all these listings. They really don't care if people are getting ripped off because they're still getting their cut. So be aware, eBay is absolutely flooded with fakes. And if you know what to look for, you can spot them 9 times out of 10 before you buy it. And there are a lot of legitimate sellers on eBay. But there are also a lot of people there who are trying to take advantage of others, so be aware. It got a little bit of flack when it came out because the price is real high. People don't really dig that, especially with everything else right now. It's hard to spend a whole mess load of money like that on a single fragrance. And the scent itself is what it says, Tobacco Honey. It has more of that like designer sensibility to it. And by that, I mean, it's made to be wearable, but it smells so good. Ultra addictive. So yeah, obviously honey and tobacco are 2 of the main notes. There's also vanilla, tonka, some cloves. You have oud in there, more just a dark woodiness, with those sweets and those spices in there. Yeah, maybe it's got like a slight edge to it, but as I said, still really wearable. Projects really well. Oof. And lasts a long time on your skin. Sprayed on your clothes, gonna be there forever. So is it worth the price? I mean, that's really, a personal question. Some people are gonna say absolutely. Other people are gonna say, oh, no way. But I do just wanna reiterate again, If you see this going for like 40 bucks, 50 bucks, that's somebody trying to rip you off. Because think about it, even if it's a used bottle, if they could sell it for whatever, $200, right? Or $250, why are they gonna sell it for $50? Okay, next up, Bad Boy Elixir. Yes, an elixir fragrance, but a lot of elixir fragrances are pretty strong. At least I didn't fill up this entire list with nothing but elixirs. I could have done that. I really, really, really like this one. It's taking that original Bad Boy idea, that DNA, and elevating it, making it better, smoother, with more power. This means power. Wait, no, it doesn't. This means power. Power! That one was not very good. It didn't really come from like down here. It came from like here. So it smells similar to the original Bad Boy. Got that cacao, that chocolatey aspect. Also has some leather in there. It has like a touch of like a kind of a nuttiness to it. A little bit reminiscent of Bad Boy Extreme, the way that comes across in the opening. Good staying power, lasts a long time. Really good for fall and winter time, day or evening. And as I've said a few times, pretty much each time I talk about this one, for the lovers of the original, oh, I hit that kind of hard. The original Bad Boy DNA, this one I feel like is the pinnacle of that. And have more of you come around to the lightning bolt bottle? I know that when it was first announced, it was, pretty cheesy. I compared it to the AC/DC lightning bolt or Black Adam, like when that movie was coming out, kind of like that lightning bolt going on. But over time, kind of like it. Rayhan Crimson. So this is the newest Rayhan that I own. I don't own a whole heck of a lot of them. I've got this one and then 5 others. So I own 6. The first 3 I got kind of sucked. I didn't really like them. They were all eh. Then I got Corium, which is like stronger with you leather. That one's pretty good. I got Elixir, which is supposed to be Lamal Elixir. That was not too bad, but it was more expensive than some of the other Lamal Elixir alternatives that were better than it. So it's kind of like, what's the point? This one is Creed Centaurus, and this is probably the best one out of all the ones I own. This is done in that typical clone style where they're like, yo, let's make it stronger. Because that's one of the go-tos, isn't it? That's like one of the go-to ideas of clone fragrance brands where they're like, we're gonna clone this fragrance, but we're gonna make it stronger. We're gonna give it steroids. It's like Dolph Lundgren right before he fights Rocky, he's getting juiced up. That's essentially what they do with the fragrances. They get them in there, get them in the lab, inject them with some questionable goods and services, and suddenly, woof, big and strong. But that's what's going on here. It's Creed Centaurus, but ramped up. And it smells good. This is one where you spray it on immediately, hits you right away with no off-putting kind of alcohol blast, no funky mix where something is kind of out of whack. It's rich, warm, sweet, just like Centaurus. It's another tobacco scent. It's just really well done. And it's one that each time I go back and smell it, I'm like, oh man, that's actually better than I remember. So I've got to put Rayhan Crimson in here just because Rayhan is coming out with stuff that is not down here. When you start down here, it's like, oh, that brand is pretty bad. It kind of sucks. I don't like that. But then if they crawl out of that and they start to do a little better, it's like, oh, look at you. Good for you. Been hitting the gym, haven't you? You got broken up with. Eros Parfum from Versace. Now, when it comes to Eros, you can put pretty much any of them in here, at least for me. From the main line, Eros Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum, and Parfum, all 3. Really good. They project, they last. I mean, the Eau de Toilette, for the longest time, people were always just like, oh, that's club scent. Clubbing only. But over time, I think more people have come around to realizing, oh, no, you just wear that whenever you want, man. That style of DNA, that fragrance, people just like it. Yes, it does absolutely work, like in a night out type situation. Yeah, for sure. But you can wear it to the office, wear it casually, it don't matter, it's Eros. Now the Parfum, that is like the cleanest, best pleasure. Anybody out there watch To Catch a Predator? There's like 1% of people that are gonna understand where that's from, I feel like. Everyone else is gonna be like, bro, what are you talking about? Eros is the cleanest. That's weird, man. Yeah, so it's an elevated Eros. It's a little more grown up for sure, but I think that really anybody can pull this stuff off. The sweetness is not as bubblegummy. It smells a little higher quality. The citrus hits really nicely. Just that bit of like lemon and mint combining. You've got the apple in there from the other Eros fragrances. Good dose of warm tonka as it dries down. Just really, really good stuff. Lasts forever. Let's go next with Code. Code Eau de Parfum from Giorgio Armani. This essentially smells similar to Code Profumo, which discontinued, although it was stuck with the herpty-derpty 3-note note breakdown that has nutmeg, tonka, and green mandarin. Projection is maybe not as monstrous as some of these others, but it does last a long, long time. And so in that sense, a little bit can go a long way because it's gonna stick around forever. If you go a little bit heavier, it will project quite strongly, and because of that longevity, it will continue doing so for many hours. Like Profumo that came before it, more of a fall winter time fragrance, daytime or evening. And the only way they really could have improved this more is giving it a magnetic cap, but that was reserved for just Code Parfum. Code Eau de Toilette and Eau de Parfum get the click-on cap. And last but not least, we will go with Lattafa Art of Universe, which the entire universe apparently consists of Mars, Earth, the Sun, Saturn, and Jupiter, along with some shooting stars. Maybe the moon? Is that supposed to be the moon? It looks like there's a chunk knocked out of it. Huh. So Art of Universe smells a bit similar to Blue Talisman, though it is jacked up in terms of sweetness, which kind of throws me back to this little Armaf guy over here, Connoisseur, that we talked about earlier. Now that sweetness can hit pretty hard off the top with Art of Universe, so for some people, it may not be the best when they get that big blast. For others, they're gonna be like, ooh, it's like a fruit cocktail. So you've got bergamot, mandarin orange, and pear, along with ginger. It gives it this very fizzy, sweet, fresh, spicy opening. As it dries down, you have musk as one of the main notes. Again, similar in a number of ways to Blue Talisman. Not a one-to-one, but kind of in that same ballpark. And even though most people would consider this more of a spring, summertime fragrance, more of a daytime fragrance, it is real strong. So if you spray this on very heavy in the middle of summer when it's really hot outside and all those sweet notes kind of hit you right off the top, it could be a little bit overwhelming, so keep that in mind. Also, it was a bit of a hype beast, and that means that off and on it's sold out at discounters, and some people ask ridiculous prices for this one. So be aware of that, don't pay too much. You want to be picking this up for around 40 bucks. I mean, if it's a little bit more than 40, that's fine. If it's below 40, that's good. But don't be paying 60, 70 bucks. And some people are asking over 100, which is absolutely goofy. Don't pay that. The giveaway. I forgot. Parfums Vintage today. We have 2 Parfums Vintage fragrances. I don't think I have the boxes for these anymore, but I'll bubble wrap them up real nice to make sure they don't shatter en route. So over here is Rush of Unicorns, which is supposed to be Millésime Imperial from Creed, a clone. And over here, Brutus Oud, which is supposed to be Rush of Parfums Amber Oud. Quite a difference in color between these two, huh? This one looks like Coca-Cola, just about. So those two right there, those are 50 ml size bottles. Anybody is eligible for this, wherever you are. If you want to be entered in the giveaway, usual stuff, you have to leave a comment. In the comment, just let me know what fragrance you like to wear that is quite strong, at least to your nose. Even if some people think it's not the strongest thing, like Silver Mountain Water, for me, that stuff is really strong. I've gotten myself into trouble wearing that before because it's been so strong. But other people will be like, oh, Silver Mountain Water, it's not strong at all. So whatever it is to you, that's fine. Like the video, be subscribed to the channel, and give me at least a couple weeks. I'll put it together with some other winners of recent videos, post it up on the post tab of the YouTube channel. If you're the winner, just hit me up. I will ship those out to you. So there they are. Let's move those off over here. Got like a little table over here where I put my stuff that I'm giving away. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.